Welcome back to Whitt Acres. I just got home with some new fish for the patio pond, and we also have an update on the 7,000 gallon koi pond. So I've really been enjoying this patio pond since I changed out the fountain and turned it into a more natural waterfall. I think it looks so much better with the rock instead of the plastic in here. I have my fish acclimating in this water, but the sun is creeping around on it quick. And what I got was some new shabunkin goldfish. So we got 3 new shabunkins to be putting in the pond here to grow out. So this pond out here without any fish in it will accumulate some mosquito larvae. So I wanted to get some fish to put in here just so I could keep that population of larvae down. So I just got 3 shabunkin goldfish, and once they get big enough, I'll be putting them out into the big pond. And then the other bag of fish will be going directly into the big pond right after these. All right, I got my GoPro so we can try and do some underwater shots. I haven't ever tried this before because I'm worried it's gonna break. But we're gonna give it a go this time and see if we can get some cool footage. I'm not too worried about the water going into the pond here from the fish because it's not an aquarium. But I will drain out most of the water into a plant. Oops, dropped one in the plant. All right, how's this thing work? All right, let's just try and get them out. They're stuck in the plastic. Oh, they're getting out. Oh, we got some stuck in there. Oh, that's all of them. I don't know if I got it. Where'd they go? Oh, there they are. All right. Well, now that we have some fish in here, we shouldn't have any more problem with the mosquitoes. Oh, that's going to be really nice to have fish in here again. I like coming over to see it, but looking down in the water with it being all clear, I love seeing that there's fish inside there now. Hopefully all 3 of them. I see the third one. All right, we have 3 in here. Hopefully we can get them out of here in the winter before it freezes over, and all 3 will still be alive, and we'll be able to move them out into the big pond. Now for the other fish. So I've been having a problem here in my big pond. The 7,000 gallon koi pond I've been digging and building out here for the past year or so. It's not quite finished yet. Oh, no way! Goldie Hawn! Okay, I did not see Goldie for the past 2 days, and I thought the bass ate her. I was so worried that the largemouth bass in here ate Goldie Hawn. Oh, I got the fish. We got to get these feeders in here. All we got today here is some feeders. I got some feeder goldfish because I was worried that the largemouth was eating my koi. We're going to try and get these in real quick because they're running out of oxygen. That largemouth has been eating pretty good. I saw him eat a big frog. I actually got a picture of him with a frog in his mouth. Look at that girl. She is eating. And right after he had that frog, I lost Goldie Hawn, the butterfly koi fish, but it's really good to see her in there now. I don't know what you can see on the GoPro, but hopefully it's a good shot. That's all of them. They all fell right on the GoPro, so hopefully it's still working and I got it all. Hey little guy, how you doing? Huh, puppy? Yeah, we got new fish. New fish in the pond, puppy. I released them here at the waterfall, so they should be able to make their way into the deep end out there before finding the bass. I don't know where the bass is right now. She cruises the whole pond. But I am super excited to see Goldie Hawn still alive. I figured she was big enough to where the bass wouldn't be able to catch her. But then again, that bass was eating some frogs, and you know bass can be fast and they got a big mouth. So I didn't know if it was able to catch one of the koi when they were sleeping or just less active at night. But I am super excited to see Goldie Hawn still in the pack. We have Goldie Hawn and Betty White right there, the 2 butterfly koi, and I'm hoping that they're big enough that the bass won't catch them. We did lose Yin, one of Yin and Yang. We lost one, and I don't see Yang right now, but she could be hiding in a cave. We have 3 caves, one up there, one down there, and one over by the waterfalls. So there's definitely places for them to hide away from like a blue heron or something, but that bass can make it in all those caves, and I'm sure that bass can catch these koi. So I'm trying to make sure that I keep adding some feeder goldfish and trying to keep some easier prey for the bass to get rather than trying to chase down and use up all its energy chasing the butterfly koi. There she is, just cruising around like a big old submarine. Yep, right into her cave. She definitely likes that garden box cave a lot more. You can't really tell it's a garden box because I don't have it planted out with lilies yet, but that's what it's built there for. So even today when I was at the pet store, I saw a gold butterfly koi and I almost picked her up because I thought I lost Goldie Hawn. But I wanted to give Goldie a few more chances so I could see her in case she was just hiding the whole time. And it turns out she was. So I'm really glad I didn't lose Goldie Hawn yet. But that sun is bright. I can't see a thing out there. I lost my sunglasses yesterday somehow. And it's a really sunny day, so that's a bad time to lose my sunglasses. I'm not sure how much I'm going to be seeing these shabunkin. There is a big area underneath the waterfall for them to hide in, so once they find all those little crevices, I'm sure they're going to be going in there for safety. They're not going to want to sit out here in the sunlight. But I do have the lily pads in there to give them some shade and try and keep the algae from building up too much. I'm really happy to get those fish in the patio pond and get some feeder fish for the bass inside the big pond, and I'm super happy that I can see Goldie Hawn now out swimming again. But there is one more thing I want to get done out here by the pond, and that is digging up all my willows. So we propagated these willows from the willows I have around the property. I have 3 different kinds, and we propagated them all by just cutting some stems about a number 2 pencil size and sticking them in the beach here. The beach sand always stays wet next to the water, so it allowed the sticks to stay moist until they started setting roots. And once they started setting roots, they were able to start pushing some new leaves, and then the leaves gave the sticks energy to push more roots. And then they turn into big plants like this, and we need to get them out before those roots start causing problems. Echo Pup's enjoying watching all the little minnows in the beach right there from the dock. We're getting a lot of nice farm sounds coming from the homestead. The turkey are getting big enough to where they're starting to make noise now. I just really love having all the different nature sounds going around the property. It's so bright. A quick check on the new frogs inside the fish room. They're still in the quarantine tank with the silver dollars, but they're doing really good. Hey, Big Belly, look at you. I've been giving them shrimp pellets and some frozen bloodworms, and they've been loving it. And the silver dollars really eat anything I put in there. They're like a little pack of piranhas. Seve and Balthazar are still doing good inside the cichlid tub here, and they are the only residents inside the cichlid pond here, and they're doing pretty well. I had some feeder guppies in here, and they'd be swimming around on the top, and Balthazar would go around and pick them off from time to time. But then he had one left, and he was getting really aggressive with that one, and it didn't turn out well. Every so often, I'd hear the water slosh around real bad in this tank, like Balthazar just jumps from one side to the other. So I keep the water level down on this tank so Balthazar doesn't jump out. I remember when he was younger, I would feed him stuff out of the water, and he'd jump up and grab it. So I know he's capable of jumping out, so I didn't want to have the water level too high, and I don't want to put a screen over the top of this either. But with that one guppy swimming around on top of the water, he went for it, and he made a big leap out of the water. I do my editing right around the betta tank there, and I saw Balthazar, just a big black blob, jump as high as the betta tank and out onto the floor. Then I heard the sound of a fish out of water on the ground, so I dove out of my chair, hurt my knee actually, scraped it all up and bruised it, trying to get Balthazar into my hands and back into the tank. It was a bit of a struggle, but I was able to grab him, throw him back in the tank here, and this was about a week ago, so he's still been doing really well afterwards, and I haven't seen any problems with him since. I did take that guppy out of here and put him back into the guppy breeding pond. Not sure where he is right now, but he is the pardoned guppy, and he got to go back into the breeding pond with all the ladies and a new chance to make some new babies. Our betta bowl for the time being is still empty. I want to give it a good cleaning. Right now I just have 2 mystery snails in here doing a little bit of work on their own. And Scar's doing really well here in the community tank, even though there isn't much of a community anymore. He needs a good cleaning as well because of the glasses starting to fog up. I do have some of the snails in here doing some work, the nearite snails, but they leave a lot of trails without doing a lot of cleaning. And we still have a couple corridors there running around on the bottom. I've been thinking of some new ideas for the fish room and what I want it to look like, so we definitely have some new projects coming up in some new upcoming videos, so make sure you're subscribed down below so you can see everything unfold. Check out the goldfinch. Oh, it just left. It's back. It came right back. Goldfinch on a stick. Butterfly on a sunflower. The guys are going. What a beautiful day. All right, I'm back out here at the pond. I had to go up to the homestead and do a barn turnover with all the animals, get them situated, some fresh water and fresh food. And then I decided to get both duck flocks out into the farm pond. So right now, all the ducks and mumbles are out in the field pond. Even Rita is out there being a duck today. And if we had a tree out there, Echo would be in the shade keeping an eye on his ducks, but he's just gonna watch from here. So here on the beach, we have the willow sticks that we plugged into the sand a little while back. We did a whole video on that one. You can go back and see that. And now it's time to start pulling them out and see what kind of root system we have. If we look around this rock, we can actually see roots right here shooting out. So I know these are the willow roots, so I know that they're shooting past the rock and a little bit further than I want them. I want to get these out of here before they start going around the liner and giving me a leak with the water. Mumbles, you just came out of the pond. That's a big bird out there. I love seeing her out there. Once we get these out of here, I might have to figure out some other planting I can put here, because I have been liking the little bit of foliage that this has been providing on the corner of the beach. And we are in the splash zone for this project. I don't want to poke the liner with anything, so I'm just going to have to get in there and dig these out with my hands. I got to move my seashells so I don't damage those. Oh yeah, we got roots coming up everywhere. Let's see if I can get a couple of these out first. And we have 3 different types of willows here. One is the corkscrew willow, one's going to be the black willow, and the other is a willow oak hybrid. Might have to move this rock. Oh, that's probably a frog. Still in there. Oh wow, we got some roots. So the roots have been growing right up to the rock, underneath the rock, and all the way around the back side of the rock back into the water. These are willows, so they love water, so they're just going to keep sucking up a lot of this water. It is actually helping with my filtration of the pond, but there is better plants that I can use for my decorative pond rather than using these very aggressive rooted willows. So let's try and get these out. Pup, you gonna help? Looks like we have one stick, but the one healthy branch is kind of broken on that one. 2 that are kind of stuck together here. We'll try and work, yep, they just slide right apart because of the sand. Nice 2 healthy starts for the willows. And if I had to guess, which I will have to guess, I think this one's the willow hybrid. It has straight leaves. I'm thinking the willow hybrid has straight leaves. And then you can see the curly leaves on this one, which I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at my trees and try and figure out which one's which again. I probably said it in the video. I believe this yellow one is the corkscrew willow, so I just have to figure out which one's black and which one's the oak hybrid. But these ones rooted in a lot more. Take them all out together. I can hear them tearing away. Yeah, they pulled on the liner a little bit because they dug into the roots dug into the fabric I have underneath the liner. There we go. These are going to be very nice, healthy starts for these willow trees. Good set of root system on these. Definitely more roots than I want in my pond though. This one's definitely the corkscrew. This is a fancier one my dad got from a nursery. This one might be probably one I could sell, or someone would be very happy if I gave it away. And we have 3 of them, so we have survivors. All of them are survivors except for maybe one of these, which we'll have to see which one that is, whether it's the black or the oak hybrid. I'm going to try and pull some of these roots out because I don't want them just dying and decaying in the water. We're in the splash zone, puppy. How are the ducks doing? Looks like the ducks are coming out into the field starting to forage. Well, they're even coming back up to the top. Those will be good compost for the new garden bed we were building last video. Ah, right into the water. Get this sand smoothed out and this rock back into place. All right, now that I pulled all these willows out of the wet sand that they've been growing in, I'm going to need to get them into a pot or into some soil so they can continue to grow without drying out. Trying to keep an eye on my ducks out there. The 2 flocks are starting to separate now, and Mumbles and the main flock are going back up the hill, and the younger duck flock are still at the pond preening themselves. If you're interested in what happens out there with the ducks, make sure you check out my Whitt Acres Homestead channel in the description down below. This one here is the corkscrew willow, so I'm trying to see what the branches look like so I can kind of guesstimate which one is which over there. It has straight leaves, they're not twisted, and it has some reddish newer branching and hardens off to a yellower bark. I've pruned this back a few times already, but I just put this in, I believe, last year in the growing season, and this thing has been getting big. Look at the trunk on this already. It's gorgeous. I do love seeing the field filled up with animals though. Down here in the vegetable garden we have my other willow. Behind the oak tree at the end here we have the willow oak hybrid, and this one I'm looking at, it has straight leaves as well and very similar reddish new growth maturing to a yellow bark. This one has a very tall straight growth habit, so I'm going to be putting this in the marshy wet area we have over here and just putting them all close together, creating a nice thick screen. Oh, we have a dahlia blooming. I think this might be the first dahlia to bloom out here in the cut flower garden. Gorgeous purple one. We still have the echinacea blooming, the nasturtiums, a red dahlia. This one's blooming as well. A smaller pom-pom red one. That one's nice. We used to have a ton of those. And then we have some zinnias coming up. And the, what is this, verbena. Nice little pop of color from the verbena out here on the cut flower garden. It looks like the zinnias and the dahlias are really starting to come into some color, so we can have some late season color out here as all the sunflowers have pretty much finished up. Ducks are making a lot of noise out there. On the outside of the entrance here we have some zinnias and some amaranth blooming, a little bit of calendula in there as well. But I set this one stone here and it doesn't look like much, but this is going to be the start of a bench. I'm going to be setting a stone and wooden bench right here. So I just put that stone there because it's the perfect stone for one of the bench legs. So once I find the other perfect stone for a bench leg and a wood top, that'll get built there, but I just had to get that one started because I already found the stone. And these two volunteer gourds are very welcome on the outside of the vegetable garden entrance. We also have the volunteer sunflower blooming. That one finally started blooming. We were able to keep it alive. It bent over in a storm and then it kind of twisted and turned and kind of worked its way back straight again, and look how many heads it's putting on. So that's going to actually bloom here for a little while, keeping the entranceway of the vegetable garden looking gorgeous. And look how tall this dahlia is. We have a tall red dahlia standing almost 6 feet high, and then a real big dinner plate hibiscus here holding a lot of color. We have the zinnias on the backdrop, and the amaranth is just starting to fill in full. My last willow is a black willow, and that one is up in the nursery. I have a few of those already planted, and they've been getting pretty big as is, so I think most of these are going to be going into the nursery as well until I figure out a better place for them in the fall. I'm going to be doing a lot of planting out of the nursery in the fall. We have that nursery getting pretty full. I put it there originally just to give me a little extra time to find places in the landscape for the plants, because I'm trying to get other areas created to where I can't just put in some trees and then we got to work around them to get the area created. This ramp bed is filling in beautiful too, with the brocade marigolds and the tall California zinnias, and the pond bank is filling in a lot better than I thought it was going to in the beginning of the year. I am excited to get some water plants in here. I have been trying to find a good source for them. I'm not going to be buying them online. I was trying to find a local source for them. I could go pick them up. So I'm still trying to find a good source for them before we get to the end of the season. But I am so happy to see Goldie Hawn still in the pond swimming around with Betty White here. I thought my largemouth bass ate her at first because he was eating a really big frog, and I'm thinking that the koi are fast enough to get away from him, but like I said, I'm missing yin. I had yin and yang, two black and white kois, and I only have yang right now, and I don't even see her at the moment. And I do have one older shabunkin that we picked up today. We picked up 3 babies, but we do have one older one in here that's a little bit bigger. He's practically invisible on camera, but he has a nice dark bluish gray with orange ink blots all through him, and he's just a gorgeous looking fish. Once I get the GoPro back off the ducks that are in the pond right now, I'll try and get some underwater shots of them and some of the other fish. I actually forgot my GoPro in the pond. Once I did the fish release with the feeder goldfish, I forgot my GoPro was even in the water, and I went up and did the barn thing, and then I came back down and kind of remembered I wanted my GoPro, and it was still in the pond. So I'm hoping that thing's still working. This is the first day that I'm using it in water, and I forget it for a couple hours in the water. So we're really testing it out, making sure this thing's going to work for the future use. And hopefully we have some nice underwater footage I can overlay for this right now. also been trying to keep the gourd from overtaking the succulent garden over here. The succulents have really taken and been getting bigger. We have this one that looks real good. I don't know what it's called, but we have this one that actually doubled in size since I put that in. And then we have the chick and hen one right there, and the pink one up here. This one isn't getting much bigger, but we do have a bunch of little pups coming up, like it's re-sprouting some younger offspring. So I'll have to keep getting this gourd up off the succulents so they don't get shaded out. But this one also got taller. It's kind of hiding over here, but it's actually been really nice to have the different type of texture over here. It's its own little corner, and I'm hoping to get some more succulents. I'm not sure if these are going to survive the winters yet, but we got to try new things, and that's how we learn. But let me know what you think of the gardens right now, where they are and how they look, and what you think the next thing we should add to the outdoor 7,000 gallon garden pond is. That's going to be all for this one. If you love nature, make sure to subscribe down below. Hit that like button before you leave, and you can see me and Echo on the next one. Thanks for watching. Where are you going? Back in the shade. All right. Hey, there's a geyser.